So I need to make a video response to Mandatory Fun Day, just so that way it's understood, because apparently your job is communication, right? Your job is, understanding nuance, like interpreter, basically. All right. So, pop smoke means to evacuate. So kind of like a ninja smoke bomb, disappear. Cute reference, by the way. But let's talk about the other one. Do it again. All right. So, do it again means we're not happy about the factor of the act. All right. So let's talk terminology. All right. Do it again. Nike's slogan, just do it. Just take action. Motivation. So, do it again, having negative inference. But if you don't let the person know that it has negative inference, they don't know they're doing something wrong because they do not know the negative inference. All right. So, that being said, do it again. There's another nuance, all right, that it could have. Astonishment. All right. So, like for example, if somebody is impressed, they would ask you to do it again. Wow. I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know you were capable of that. You have exceeded my expectations. So, it's like, you know what? I've done it before. I could do it again. So, they do it again. What does that provide? The person that said, do it again. More astonishment. Kind of like giving good feels. All right? So if you don't tell somebody to do it again has a negative inference, they don't know. They don't know that, like, I'm taken back. If this motherfucker is stupid enough to try this shit again, that's going to be the last thing they ever do. But you're not providing context. So if you don't provide context, the person that you're saying do it again to, how the fuck do they know what they did wrong? And how do they know that there was even something done wrong? All right? Because ultimately, if you're saying it has a negative inference, then ultimately what you're also saying is that, like, let's say, for example, being like, oh, somebody would not have done well in the military because, not obedient at all. So they end up getting in trouble with the fucking military when they get older because they enlisted and somebody ended up saying to them, do it again. And that trauma from their parent, ends up going ahead and kicking in because the only thing that they think about is that parents' fucking overcorrection of everything. Because ultimately, the abuse of you did not meet the expectations, do it again until you meet the standard that I say is an acceptable standard for you. Well then, going into the military, after having that done, somebody being like, do it again, having that being a warning, if the person takes action to do it again, but you don't tell them the context that they did something wrong, the only context that they had was that they were doing the right thing by attempting to do it again because they might have not met standards that in some form the standard of the expectation of results had not been the ones that were desired. So attempt to get the proper results. What would that cause? A need for somebody to give another attempt. All right? So if you're saying that do it again is a bad thing, but you also don't let the person know that when they're saying or being told to do it again, that they are being warned of the perils of do it again, while not being told that those words mean don't do it again. The contradiction in that fucking logic. All right? Now, what consequences is there for the person that was not giving the fucking context and the nuances, while at the same time thinking that them doing it again, the reason that they did it again was because of the factor that they thought that they were taking a direct order that ultimately would have ended up being the determining factor of the continuation of the capability of their fucking job title, profession, and career. Now, the consequences of not following that. That nuance being handed to the public, while at the same time wanting a fucking explanation. All right? And not a manufactured one, a legitimate one, is the equivalence of a fucking threat. All right? So, like, for example, trying to go ahead and be like, hey, this person went to attack, so we set up some deterrents to prevent a fucking attack. Those deterrents are not known by anybody with a big fucking mouth that would end up hindering the deterrent to prevent an attack. So then, the person digging for the nuances to figure out how to disarm those deterrents would end up going ahead and causing a fucking problem. So, like, for example, when Bush was in office, ultimately going and setting up, every situation, despite the factor of the mitigated failure that ended up, coming from Operation Iraqi Freedom, because literally, hey, because of those false nuances, racism stemmed up. We are talking, it went full stoke. Congratulations, we have literally just reverted in fucking history. But because of the factor we had a president that lied, wanted to cause public hysteria to justify using the military as a fucking paid burglary service, while wanting to justify how we were not the fucking burglars. Alright? While at the same time, now you've got the government pulling distraction techniques, because of the situation with Palestine and, Israel, as well as Ukraine and Russia. It's like, hey, the government keeps saying, war is about to happen, potentially. Understand, you're going to have the people that are afraid to go to war. You're going to have the people that are excited for war. The people that are afraid to go to war are going to prevent the people that want to go to war from actually getting what they want. All right? Well, at the same time, you have people that are protesting, trying to prevent war from fucking happening. Well, the government's trying to go ahead and pull this bluff of accurate, not accurate, accurate, not accurate, accurate, not accurate. This is the reason that the weaponization of the media is the releasing of the linchpin of the grenade to blow societal structure to smithereens. So you understand the purpose of journalism? Now, the price of information. All right? Ultimately, the value of the information is relevant to who it is that information ends up being so detrimental or so valuable to. All right? So, like, for example, for me, I'm going to look at promises kept and promises broken under a morality Geiger, basically. All right? And you know what that is? If you are asking me to keep a secret that I agree with or I don't agree with, all right? Regardless, would keeping that secret be a hindrance or a help? So, like, for example, we're going to talk about usefulness and uselessness. All right? So, you know what the definition of an example of useless? Getting a restraining order on somebody that has clarified that they don't want to be around you, that while vocalizing that they don't want to be around you, you simultaneously get a piece of paper saying that you don't want them around them either, while at the same fucking time, while clarifying that you don't want to fucking be around them, you're not providing an option, any other fucking option. So then, you want to claim that said restraining order was fucking broken, when at the same time, the reason that it was broken was because of the person that said they wanted no contact in the first place has now shown up at the fucking location of the person who was told to stay the fuck away, who was just trying to go about their fucking life. The literal definition of useless is getting an order of protection on somebody who has said in numerous different fucking tones, whether it be through music, whether it be through text, whether it be through fucking calls, whatever the fucking response is, saying, fuck you, leave me alone. I want nothing to do with you. All right? At that point, you're harassing the alleged harasser, making you a harasser, causing the harassed that was accused of being a harasser to have to go ahead and now get an order of protection to prevent you from fucking harassing them because you wanted to try to orchestrate a situation to try to get them locked up for just living their fucking life while going ahead and having to gather a whole bunch of evidence clarifying that the only way that they literally did not fucking communicate to leave them the fuck alone when they clarified, I'm respecting the fucking, order of protection, would have been to go ahead and hire somebody to give a fucking singing goddamn telegram to present to their house with a fucking orchestrated announcement, all right? In some clever and amusing way. To have it videotaped and filmed as an excuse to put online. Saying, stay the fuck away, we don't fucking like you, go fuck yourself. But you still want to harass the person anyway. Because ultimately, you weren't happy that you didn't get the results of jail. But in the past, by doing that technique, you got the results of jail. That means that ultimately, if you're not getting that result the second time, it verifies the factor that now, having all the context, the people that make the decision if the person should be in jail or not, while you're wanting to throw accusations and not giving them a chance to defend themselves in any way, shape, or form, and explain their fucking mindset of what made them think that this was acceptable while having any form of context came from them, from being able to defend themselves. Well, the person not being locked up clarifies the factor that them being locked up the first time around, with the cops not knowing that these were the shenanigans going on, clarifies that history is not going to repeat itself, because the people that have the authority to execute your will see through your bullshit. And they have said, you're literally asking them for the impossible. Provide them with a fucking solution to satiate and alleviate the problem, or leave them the fuck alone, because it's not their goddamn problem that there is a problem. And if they are not involved in that problem, you're trying to drag them into it. You're trying to get them to figure out a solution to your fucking problem. At that point, you have hired them for an advisory role and pay them the fucking money. Because everyone's time has value.